Absolute cinema. I am back. We are here to catch up on some shit. And I'm wearing my glasses this time because I actually I'm getting brain aches. Still, we played through these games. These games are super awesome, super sick, super amazing. But I don't know the full lore of it, you know? I've played these games in the last 3 years and I'm not caught up with the entire lore. So, we are gonna watch this 1 hour long video of catching up on all this fucking lore. Alright, let's run this shit.
Hi, I'm Amanda. And I'm...
I am the kind of guy to watch on 1.5, so where's the... oh, here it is. 1.25.
This is the only video on Amanda the Adventurer lore you will ever need. I have spent years studying the lore. I have made over 14 theories. My entire legacy on the internet is literally the Amanda guy. I'm telling y'all right now, there ain't a single human being on Earth that knows this game's story better than me.
He's out of line, but he's right.
It's facts! It's facts! It's not facts!
Now, over the years, as these games have come out, I've built this game's entire story brick by brick into one cohesive and easy to follow timeline. And it's finally...
Thank God, bro, because I looked through and I could not find anything. Originally, the guide to go to for any of these things or game theory, went over and checked and there's 7 different videos. I was like, fuck! I need to watch one thing, and this is the one thing that I'm watching. And it is an hour long, but fuck it. Oh, wait.
Complete. Every single tape. Hamlin's twisted cult origins, Rebecca's clairvoyant abilities, the true fate of Sam, Kate, Joanne, and Riley, and of course, Wooly. Every theory has led to
our biggest stop.
Now, just like last video, there are some pieces of the timeline that are confirmed by the game itself, and others are theories that I've built on very strong evidence. But to keep everything clear and separate, I'm gonna borrow the same system that Game Theory used in one of their videos.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga.
Okay.
Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit.
I'm gonna put an indicator in the top right of the screen. Last time I said left and I was wrong, so I think I'm gonna put an indicator in the top left of the screen. Red means that it's proven fact based on the games, and blue means that I'm theorizing based on very, very strong evidence. Red equals fact, blue equals
That's good.
fact. Even though my last
Wait,
timeline
that's
video
so
does
awesome.
still hold up beautifully.
I love this guy. What the fuck? That's so sick. Okay.
Obviously,
good.
Amanda 3 has come
very
out since then, and we've gotten so many new details that honestly, this new timeline is almost completely unrecognizable from the original. In fact, it even starts 400 years earlier. So we're gonna be flipping between future me and past me. This is the complete Amanda the Adventurer timeline.
Just starts from
in traditional Christian beliefs,
the picture?
It is believed that at the beginning of the universe, there was darkness, nothingness, a dark, formless void, and it was God that cleansed the darkness and introduced the light. And with it, purity and truth.
Okay.
The path to purity and ascension to God was only possible through the following and the teaching of the light. This is what is known as enlightenment, but not everybody believed this. Some people didn't believe in God. They believed that the darkness of the universe was the true reality. All humans were born from nothingness, or as they called it, the Great Nil. So there were the people that followed the light, which was the overwhelming majority. And then there was those few that followed the dark. And these people came together. They believed that the light was a curse on the world that needed to be cleansed, and the answers lied within the darkness. They needed to block out the light. They just didn't know how yet. And thus, sometime in the 1600s, the Curtain Cult was born. But of course, we know the Curtain Cult by a completely different name, a name that came about 400 years later.
Oh, sick. It's not even that long in being
So
in
here we are in
1600s.
1999, in the small town of Kensdale, Ohio, where a man named Sam Colton and his newly adopted daughter, Rebecca, lived peacefully. Rebecca was an extremely special girl. Her mental capabilities were beyond that of any child. Her adoption papers even mention observations of extremely powerful mental characteristics. In fact, on her 7th birthday, something really strange happened.
It was the little girl's birthday.
Before the party took place, she was so excited about the gift she would receive that she had dreams about what she would get.
This was insane.
But these dreams were more than
this
just
was
dreams.
so scary.
They were premonitions. Because on the day of her birthday, all the gifts that she had dreamed about were the exact gifts that she received. She had somehow managed to predict the future. That's because this little girl from Kensdale is actually what's known as a clairvoyant, an extremely rare person with psychic abilities who can sense into the beyond and perceive future events and spirits through visions. But Sam didn't know this. In fact, nobody did. Rebecca kept this secret all to herself. Sam would take Rebecca to the local Kensdale Public Library to read because, you know, it was the 90s and kids still did that. Man, do you remember those days as a kid where you would unironically go to the library to read? I mean, at least that's what I did when I was a kid. I feel like nobody does that anymore. Damn, I think my unk status is showing, dog. Well, it was at this library that Sam ran into Kate Park, the local librarian. Rebecca, Kate, and Sam all had a tight-knit relationship.
Kate was
and
bad.
Kate would even bring her niece Riley to hang out with Rebecca from time to time. Now, that name may sound familiar, and that's because Riley Park is actually the character we play as in the Amanda the Adventurer games, who at this point in the timeline was actually the same age as Rebecca. They would often play together as Sam and Kate would watch over them. Sam really loved Rebecca. It felt like he had found a new purpose in his life.
That's sick.
So inspired by his passion for Rebecca, Sam decided to create a small in-house children's show, Amanda the Adventurer. This show was a simple live-action series, with Rebecca starring as Amanda, as she goes on adventures and teaching kids important lessons. Sam produced it himself in a local studio, and it aired on a local public access channel, which means that anyone in the nearby town could watch it on their TV if they just tuned to the right channel. This was the late 1990s into the early 2000s, so YouTube wasn't quite a thing yet, so this is what you had to do. The whole town of Kensdale quickly fell in love with Amanda the Adventurer. Parents praised his thoughtful messages, and kids couldn't get enough of Rebecca's charm on screen. And since Sam and Kate were already good friends, Kate helped out Sam by allowing him to tell story times at the library to kids, where they would promote his show. Kate was a huge reason for the show's success.
You all may know a friend of Mr. Colton's. You can watch her on her
It must be
own
because she's a
hometown hit
teacher.
show on Kensdale's public access.
Oh, I'm a gooner.
You know
I need to
what
stop.
that is?
Okay. Tap in.
That's right, my friends.
But back to Sam and
Put the
Rebecca.
glasses harder
They kept
on.
producing Amanda the Adventurer, and by late 2000, the show's local success had exploded. It was so beloved in Kensdale that it soon caught the attention
I
of a
love
company
that fucking
called
gif.
Hamlin Entertainment. They approached Sam during one of Kate's library story times and made him an offer that could change everything, an offer that could change his life.
This wasn't the first
to turn
game, I'm
Amanda the
pretty sure.
Adventurer into a fully produced cartoon that would air on a real network.
I used to pray for times like this to rhyme.
This was huge, okay?
Okay.
The show had brought so much joy to kids around Kensdale, and it now had the opportunity to be syndicated nationally and seen by audiences across the country.
They want to turn Amanda into a cartoon. I can't really talk about it yet, but it's exciting.
So obviously, Sam said yes. And this was a fantastic decision that led to absolutely zero consequences.
Oh, it's this motherfucker, bro.
Sam signed a contract,
We
handing
hate
over the
this
rights
guy.
to Amanda the Adventurer as well as stewardship of his daughter.
Okay.
Why would you do that?
That is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that paycheck was a little bit more important than his daughter.
Money over everything, money on my mind.
Sam worked with Hamlin and his daughter Rebecca to shape the cartoon version of Amanda the Adventurer. Now, at first, Sam probably just thought that they were trying to profit off of his daughter, but what he didn't realize was Hamlin didn't care how many viewers the show got or even how much money it made. That wasn't their goal at all, because the Hamlin production company was just a front for a cult, the same one from the Middle Ages that I talked about earlier, the curtain. And Hamlin knew Rebecca's secret, what Sam never noticed. Her hidden psychic abilities. Hamlin may have discovered this through looking through her adoption papers, which made her the perfect vessel for their evil master plan. So they set the plan in motion. The Hamlin showrunners
Okay.
began slipping strange lines into Rebecca's scripts, forcing her to recite phrases tied to demonic summoning.
Rebecca, that was great. Let's move on to the next one.
It became clear to Sam that Hamlin's intentions with the show was far
that's
beyond
what
just making
that
a profitable
was?
cartoon.
What is this? What is she reading?
Don't need to be doing all that.
Simple words. This script is specifically tuned to train the technology's dynamic voice reaction.
Stop the cap.
The what? I want this to stop.
Sam eventually began to sense that something was deeply wrong with Hamlin, and in 2001, shit hit the fan. Shortly after production began on Amanda the Adventurer,
Wait! Was that... I'm so confused because there was a camera and there was the elephant and there's a ladder, I'm pretty sure, in there, but was that the room that he was staying at that they were keeping him at? What the hell?
one day, Sam Colton vanished. He was reported missing and police scoured every inch of Kensdale, the forests, the streets, everywhere. But no matter how far they searched, Sam was nowhere to be found. Unfortunately for
officer
Sam,
got
that
him.
contract he signed also signed his and his daughter's life away. Hamlin had abducted Sam and took him to a secret underground facility, putting him in a small room with only a bed, and kept the door locked so he couldn't see what they were really doing with Rebecca and the Amanda show. So what exactly was Hamlin's plan with Sam and Rebecca? Remember, the Curtain Cult believes that all existence originates from a primordial darkness or nothingness, not from God or divine light.
It's all getting put
And that this
together in my
darkness is the
brain
true
right now.
higher power. And they view children as sacred vessels because their brains are still developing, which means a child's imagination is unbound by the teachings of the light. Rebecca Colton's psychic abilities are beyond that of any normal kid. So Hamlin had a very specific plan in mind for her. The entire reason Hamlin wanted Rebecca to be the star of the show was because without her, there is no show. Her special psychic abilities allowed her to do more than just see visions. She was able to open up portals to alternate dimensions in her mind. Now, this is just a theory, but I believe that Amanda the Adventurer is not animated, and it's actually a dreamlike pocket dimension that Rebecca is able to access through the power of her mind, generated through her consciousness and channeled into the VHS tapes. Rebecca was the battery that powered this whole operation, unlocking the secrets to the darkness that Hamlin worshipped by creating a direct line to it. To be clear, it is not the alternate dimension dimension itself that is captured in the tapes. It is merely Rebecca's fractured consciousness, which is how Rebecca talks directly to kids in the episodes. But this process only worked if Hamlin had complete control of her memories, as the more she remembers, the more disconnected she is with the darkness.
That's
so in
why
order
they
to deal with
needed
this,
our
Hamlin had
boy.
to twist and manipulate Rebecca's mind so that she wouldn't remember her past, including her own father. But this process was imperfect. Whatever they did to mess with her mind didn't work completely, so they had to take an extra step. So Hamlin puts out a job posting for their Numa transference department, and they begin interviewing a man named Marcus Mootman. Marcus was a bit of an outcast and looking for a new purpose in life.
I
a
know
perfect
this
target
guy.
for cult manipulation. Throughout the interview process, Hamlin constantly tests Marcus's devotion to their company ideals, but in reality, they're testing how willing he is to follow their cult doctrine. And Marcus was ready and willing to join the curtain. Hamlin had a very specific plan in mind for Marcus. See, Numa transference is a reference to an ancient Greek concept of the soul, aka the Numa, moving between reality, essentially the transmission of the life and soul. Somehow, Hamlin was able to study Rebecca's brain activity and place other people into the Amanda dimension by replicating her mind state. I'm not exactly sure how this process works, but there's enough evidence to support the dimension theory that we can use our imagination to fill in the gaps, which means they were looking for another character to place into the Amanda show.
Oh,
aside
I'm autistic. Fuck it, I will move it. I'm gonna halfway into the video. It's fine. So you guys get to see bro.
kick that could help keep Rebecca on track and make sure that she doesn't remember her past. Wooly.
Soft. Overrated. Pretty boy. A bitch.
Wooly head.
True.
Godzilla is dead. And thus, the most iconic twist villain in indie horror was born. A lot of the community thought that Wooly was innocent at first, but I knew the
True.
truth. Rebecca didn't know any better. She
No,
probably just assumed
no.
Wooly was a victim or a kid like her. But Wooly was the perfect solution to their problem. Someone working on the inside that
Brother, when I first saw this game, like, and we were out there playing it, you know, the fact that they were really cooking my boy in that first game, Mando's an op.
can keep everything under control and prevent Rebecca
Yeah,
from
now
remembering her
we
life.
know that
But Wooly was
he's
not the only
He's
character
an
they added.
actual op.
One of Hamlin's employees was a man named Larry Smith, who was their chief neurosurgical officer. He had some kind of role in the surgical procedures they did on Marcus and Rebecca, and he dealt directly with human flesh. Now, in the Bible, flesh is usually used as an offering to spirits, so they placed Larry into the show as a mysterious butcher character who chops meat in the background. It's hard to say what role he plays exactly, because as the series has gone on, he's consistently been the most mysterious character that we have the least information about, but I do think we can conclude he has some kind of transitionary role with all the souls that enter the show, getting them acclimated to their new reality and potentially communing with the supernatural. We're going to talk about that a little more in depth shortly, so don't worry if you're a little confused. So with the cast finally together, Amanda the Adventurer went on the air, and Hamlin's plan was in motion. Now, you may have put together that their name, Hamlin, is obviously a reference to the story of the Pied Piper. The Pied Piper of Hamlin is a centuries-old folktale about a mysterious piper who uses a magical flute to lure rats out
I
of a
didn't know
town
this.
plagued by them.
This is new lore for me. That's gross.
Get it? Text him back.
Okay.
When the townsfolk refuse to pay him for his service, he takes his revenge by playing his flute again, this time leading all of the children of the town away, never to return. Hamlin worships the Pied Piper like some kind of prophet. They have a mural of him in their office, and it's a constant reminder of what they stand for. And as the years go on, kids around Kensdale start to go missing.
Well,
Come on, Lauren, we have a special surprise for you.
First game.
Come on, baby, we can watch Amanda another time.
so much fun
Lauren?
to buy your own.
Lauren?
Just like the story of the Pied Piper, the kids disappear. Hamlin lured these kids to their secret base where they would study them and their behaviors. In total, 8 kids were kidnapped, and we only know like 4 of their names. Now, one of these kids would actually go on to become a very prominent character in the Amanda show.
Also, how does this just happen? We like see that a bunch of people are missing in one specific town, and we just don't go over and check it out or nothing, like, or we just can never find. I don't know. I guess this is the 2000s. You could have gotten away with that back then. You cannot get away with that now, bro.
We'll talk about him a little bit later in the timeline. And the town of Kensdale started tweaking.
Is that Jordan? Are we saying that the possum is Jordan right now? I thought that was the dad. I thought that was homeboy. Okay.
Course of only a few years, 8 kids had gone missing with no explanation. The only thing they all had in common was that they all watched the Amanda show before their disappearance. And they also started noticing how weird kids would behave when they watched the show. But that didn't really matter to Hamlin. No one could prove anything, and they already had what they needed. So why was Hamlin studying these kids so religiously? Well, that's because their behavior was key to what they needed them for. Hamlin's ultimate goal was to use these children and their imaginations to summon demonic entities from the darkness and unleash a judgment day against everyone who followed the light.
The anomaly stuff.
But this didn't work with just any kid. See, summoning demons in the Bible is specifically tied to the idea of giving into temptation. So Hamlin would only abduct kids that showed signs of giving into temptation. Ones with bad behavior that would ignore their parents or cause problems in school, because in order to summon demons, the kids had to give in to these temptations. And once Hamlin was done studying them and had fully prepared their minds, they were ready. And from there, the kids were transferred into the show, aka the Void, where they would commune with the supernatural. We can see them in the background as all the moving objects with eyes. While the authorities search endlessly for the kids and Sam, Hamlin was using Sam to manipulate his own daughter. The contract he'd signed gave them total control, forcing him to do and say whatever they wanted. With that leverage, Hamlin twisted Rebecca into cooperating with their sinister plan.
Wait, so does that mean that the possum was the mirror that got murked? Because it had dead eyes? I don't know. Now I'm doing my own theories. Maybe that's the truth.
And while Sam was kept in the dark and didn't know exactly what was going on, he knew he had to do something. During one particular tape recording, a Hamlin employee tried to force Sam to read a script designed to manipulate Rebecca. But mid-recording, another associate calls in and makes the mistake of vocalizing their access codes right in front of Sam.
Alpha Tango Alpha 6 7.
So Sam waited, and when the timing was right, he escaped his cage and made a beeline for his daughter's room, planning to take Rebecca and leave the facility. But then something nobody could have predicted happened. Because of Hamlin experimenting on Rebecca's mind and trying to erase her memories, it brought her to some kind of mental breaking point, and seeing her dad triggered something.
Help me! Help me! Nigga!
Holy moly, holy schmoly. And so what, she killed that motherfucker?
Rebecca not only communed with an evil spirit,
Probably
but summoned it to the real world. And the demon
for a good
slimed out
reason,
Sam,
to be
and he
fair.
bleeds out right there in Hamlin's facility.
Slimed out Sam. You know what? Unpopular opinion maybe? Deserved. The fact that he sold the rights of his daughter away? Crazy. The fact that he was like, even writing the notes or making the messages for her to like, you know, go through with it? Crazy. I know he has to do it.
And you'd think this is exactly what Hamlin wanted. Proof that their rituals worked and that demons could cross over to the real world. But this demon was mentally fused with Rebecca, meaning they were effectively one being. Instead of a controllable weapon of darkness, Hamlin created something far more dangerous. A demon that obeyed Rebecca's will, and not theirs. And on top of that, the demon killed Sam, who Hamlin needed for their further manipulation of Rebecca. He was an asset to get Rebecca to do whatever they wanted, and now he was dead.
True.
So Hamlin had a huge problem on their hands. Not only did they have a demon loose in the facility, but they
Holy
also had a dead body.
schmoly.
Keep in mind, Sam was a local hero. The entire town was combing every forest and street to find him, so they couldn't just bury him out in the woods somewhere. So Hamlin got creative. They buried Sam's body and all of the evidence inside the very cartoon he created. Somehow they were able to transport his body and clothes into the Amanda Show's alternate dimension. Amanda and Wooly even discover his clothes in the episode Let's Dig for Treasure.
You know what else is fun, Amanda? Burying things.
It's even possible that the meat the butcher chops in the background of the episodes is actually Sam's flayed corpse.
Damn.
Which is why Amanda is so repulsed by it. Yeah, this game's mad dark. I don't know if you got the memo on that, but so that was one problem taken care of. But now they had the issue of the Amanda demon running around the facility, killing employees and completely ruining their plans. On top of that, because Sam was no longer in the picture, Hamlin's control over Rebecca was slipping. She would just start taking episodes in whatever direction she wanted.
Are you subscribed to Marzilla Productions?
Bitch, who the fuck is Mozzarella Productions?
Okay.
I ask you a question.
Yo, Amanda, come on, man. It's cold outside. Can we please go back to the
Like, how are you
crib,
cold?
man?
You're literally a fucking walking
Because
cotton.
we're on top of a fucking volcano, 800 feet in the fucking air, man. Of course it's cold. Shit, man, Fridge, bro. Come on, man. Let's go inside, please.
Wooly needs to be taught a lesson in
The
patience.
fuck I do, Amanda?
What should I use to teach the lesson?
Amanda, I'm very patient. Amanda, I'm very patient. I'm so patient. Oh my god, is that a fucking whip? Yo, who the fuck is writing these episodes, man? Why it always gotta be a whip or a fucking saw or some corny bullshit, man? Y'all can't let her hit a brother with a teddy bear or something? God damn.
Excellent choice.
Yo, Amanda.
We're gonna
Amanda,
have so much fun.
No! This was, I remember. This was nuts.
And unfortunately, Marcus was too much of a pushover to be able to keep.
See, this is why we all assumed that Amanda was an opera. The fact that she was really cutting my boy up, crazy.
Keep her under control. In fact, in one particular episode, Amanda kills Wooly. We'll talk about this episode more in depth when we get to the actual games, but during this period in the timeline, Wooly is completely gone from the show. But Wooly wasn't dead. He was merely removed from the show's alternate dimension for a short time, likely because the creation of the anomaly only destabilized Rebecca's mind further. Hamlin studied Rebecca's brain and scrambled to find a solution to separate her from the anomaly and get her back to normal. Well, one particular Hamlin employee studied the anomaly, and he noticed something. The anomaly would do everything in its power to protect the tapes, because the VHS tapes of the Amanda Show also contained the fragmented consciousness of Rebecca, and when they were destroyed, the anomaly would weaken. So in order to deal with the anomaly, they needed a way to destroy as many tapes of the Amanda Show as possible and also take down the entity. So Hamlin finally decided to address the controversy that had been surrounding their company. Not because they wanted to give people answers, but because addressing the controversy actually benefited them.
We are
Big
destroying any
brain.
remaining.
Oh, I thought it was like, you know how when stores like they send out bad food, or not stores, sorry, I guess manufacturers. Well, I forget what it's called, but they send out bad food and then they reclaim all of them because they don't want people to get sick, or some they might have been out of date, some like the packaging might have been wrong or something. So they bring them all back. That's what I thought they were just doing, and I thought they just wanted to bring it all back in so that the kids stop dying. But I gave them too much credit.
Physical copies of episodes to which this small number of sensitive individuals react. If you have in your possession any of these tapes, we encourage you to turn them into our production offices
What
to
is that?
avoid further exposure.
They addressed the allegations of the show having an adverse effect on children and issued a recall of all Amanda the Adventurer episodes.
A recall,
They
that's
hoped to get
what
all
it's
copies
called.
of the show back so they could destroy them, weaken the entity, and get back to their evil plan. But unfortunately, even though they were able to get most of the episodes back, they weren't able to get every single copy, because a few people who were especially suspicious of Hamlin held on to them, namely 2 women who we'll talk about very shortly. Since Hamlin
brain.
wasn't able to get every single episode, the anomaly was still too strong to deal with, so they needed to think of another solution. There was only one way to deal with the anomaly: fight fire with fire. They sought to create their own anomaly. And since the anomaly came from a normal human being, their golden child Marcus was the perfect candidate for this process. In the same way that
R.I.P.
Rebecca
my
was connected
bro.
to her entity, maybe they could force the exact same brain surge that happened to Rebecca on Marcus and create their own controllable entity. So they pulled Wooly out of the show temporarily and recreated the exact same process that happened to Rebecca on Marcus. And Shepard was born. Shepard was
What's his
Hamlin's very
name?
own anomaly,
Shepard?
connected to Wooly, which they kept caged in their facility or system, so he could sneak around, destroy the remaining Amanda tapes, and hopefully find and kill the Colton anomaly. Wooly was then put back into the show, and because he was empowered by the Shepard anomaly, was able to gain some control back. Now, it's around this time that the local
This is
librarian
so
Kate
crazy.
Clark begins to investigate
okay.
Hamlin Entertainment.
It's starting. 2002 to 2013. I was born. I was up.
To bring together a group of remarkable people.
She forms a small team of allies, David, Caroline, and Peter, to investigate Hamlin. Together they meet at a
These
discreet
guys,
location
real
and start taking
Avengers,
another
these
serious
guys.
look at everyone's favorite cartoon, Amanda the Adventurer. Luckily for them, Kate held on to all of her copies of Amanda the Adventurer, which means that they could go in depth and analyze the show in detail. And they start noticing things. Troubling things.
I caught a sigil on the swing set in the background of the Let's Play Pirates episode.
References to Belial, to Mara, to Iblis. There have been over 40 mentions of these entities. It's alarming.
They notice some sigils in the background that trace back to demonology, and they start to realize that something may be seriously off with the Amanda show. Now, after years and years of digging, Kate's team finally uncovered Hamlin's biggest secret, the location of their underground base, containing all of the proof they could ever need. So they decide to take their operation to the next level. They decide to send David, a member of the group, to infiltrate the base and record what he finds.
I'm
Using
sorry,
hidden
but David's not surviving, bro. David does not look like the type.
bunker that Kate had built beneath the library,
If you know what
David
I'm
slipped
saying.
into the
No
tunnel sewer
flame.
system, and he made his way towards Hamlin's facility. Camera in hand, he crept through the dark corridors, documenting everything he saw. The footage that he captured would eventually become the secret tapes that we uncover throughout the games. Now, David creeps around the facility on many different occasions, and eventually, Hamlin starts to realize that someone is creeping around their facility, so they tighten up their security. And after years and years of investigating, we finally arrive at our first in-game event, the Amanda the Adventurer 3 demo. The year is 2013. The demo follows David's final visit to the Hamlin base. He sneaks into the main office.
Oh, okay. By the way, I didn't play any of the demos, so I'm hoping that there isn't something on the demo that I just completely missed. I don't think so, though.
Then swipes a Hamlin keycard and heads deeper into the facility, where he discovers a hidden chamber filled with stasis pods, the missing
'Cause we
children
did
of
play
Kinsdale.
this.
He makes his way into the security room and finds the episode
This
Scavenger
is where
Hunt,
the
where he
fucking
must solve a
door
puzzle
doesn't
involving the
never
stasis pods.
opens.
On one of the monitors above him, we can see that there's this weird image of two babies sitting in cribs somewhere in Hamlin's
Yeah.
facility. And this is the next generation of the Hamlin cult. This is exactly how they've been able to survive
Okay.
as a cult since the Middle Ages. They literally birth the next generation of their cult themselves.
Does this mean Hamlin employees only have sex with other Hamlin employees?
Either that or they just straight up kidnap these babies. I mean, either one is possible. But you're probably wondering, if Hamlin is keeping newborn babies in their facility, why don't they just use those kids to summon the demons? I asked myself this very same question. But remember, the kids that were able to summon the demons were few and far between. Out of the hundreds, possibly even thousands of kids that watched Amanda, only 8 were selected for transference into the show. So maybe these babies increased their odds of success, but they still couldn't do any of this without Rebecca, which is why they had to start in 1990 and not any time between the 60s.
But then how did they do it for Marcus? Isn't there like whole thing that they want to create demons to destroy the world? How did Marcus become one of them?
1800s and then, because she wasn't even born yet. David grabs a red tape, slides it into the console in order to get all of the security footage they need to prove their case against Hamlin. But unfortunately, before he can make it out, he gets caught by Hamlin. But he does manage to slide the VHS tape into this random compartment. He ends up getting pinned down at the elevator door by an armed guard, and, well...
No!
And unlike 50 Cent, David did not survive this.
How do I say goodbye?
Following this event, Kate's team reevaluates their next move, and Caroline offers the idea of Kate infiltrating the base herself, but David is sternly against this idea since David literally just got slimed.
Hey, we've been working on this for 14 years. Please.
This is
What?
a terrible idea. We should be lying
14
low, not diving in.
years?
I mean, are we going to talk about David, or are we just going to pretend
I'm
he's
not waiting around. If they're coming for me, they're coming for me.
An argument ensued and Kate's team had a falling out, but by that point, it didn't matter. Hamlin was onto them. So Shepard hunted them all down one by one. Everyone on Kate's team winds up dead, except for Kate herself. Now, Kate realized that she was being hunted by Hamlin and her time was running out, so she made a desperate move. She wrote a letter to her niece, Riley, the character we play as in the Amanda the Adventurer games. In it, she urges Riley to watch the tapes. Kate entrusted her house to Riley and left the note there, so in the event of her death at the hands of Hamlin, Riley could pick up where she left off. She feared the worst.
That is a
if she
crazy
died,
burden
no one
to
would
put
ever
on
uncover the
somebody,
truth
by the
about
way.
Amanda or save Rebecca. So she left the note and the tapes behind as her last contingency plan. But she wasn't dead yet. In fact, her final chapter was just beginning.
No!
And this is where
The
another key
beautiful-
figure enters the story, Joanne Cook. Joanne Cook was a Kensdale resident and a friend of Kate Park. Joanne's younger brother, Jordan, mysteriously vanished after watching Amanda the Adventurer, and she shared Kate's suspicion that something about the show was deeply wrong. Now, Joanne didn't know this, but her little brother, Jordan, was actually a prominent character in the Amanda show, the Opossum. The Opossum would interrupt episodes to cause trouble and interrupt the flow of the show. He's supposed to be like the Swiper equivalent to Amanda. Jordan was one of the original 8 kids that Hamlin kidnapped. Jordan was selected because he had reported bad behavior in
fucking
school,
love
which,
that
as I mentioned
motherfucker. He's
before,
my
was
goat.
critical to the process of summoning evil spirits. Now, even though on paper this is what Hamlin wanted, his presence in the show had unintended consequences. Namely, he really pissed off Wooly.
Amanda, seriously, why is he here?
Dude is triggering Wooly, bruh.
He needs us.
Well, all you need is me. Your best friend is me, Wooly, not some weird, slobbering little
And Wooly's for real mad that Amanda doesn't want to be his best friend.
friend. We barely know this freak.
Freak is crazy, bro.
That is
Especially coming
nuts.
from you, Wooly. Like, gang, you are a grown-ass man. Amanda is 8 years old, bro. You're pressed that an 8-year-old don't want to hang out with you? That's weird. You're weird. Wooly trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. Because Wooly's entire goal is to keep Amanda under control and keep the Amanda show on track.
Okay, I'm done.
And here the possum comes in, ruining his plans and causing chaos constantly. Across the episodes, the possum continually enrages Wooly until he completely crashes out in one fateful episode.
Now fuck that! I really think y'all got me fucked up! Oh my mama, y'all got me fucked up!
Okay. I didn't do that one.
Wooly's mind snaps, and he fully embraces the demon he bonded with. His head splits into 3, which is a reference to the 3-headed king of hell, Balaam. And then he vanishes, fully embracing the demon and becoming one with
Become the
Shepard.
cloud.
Marcus, or whatever was left of him at this point, has had enough. And then back in the real world, something with Shepard changes. See, Hamlin made a critical error. They assumed that the demons that they summoned would be on their side, just because they followed the darkness.
Man, thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate y'all presence. Like, y'all don't understand, man. We've been trying to get y'all here for like 400 years, bro, but now we here, we outside. So, you know, as we know, you guys definitely agree with all of our cult principles and are willing to go through with our evil plan, right?
Kill all of them! In game.
Hamlin was wrong.
Wrong.
While Hamlin was able to
Mark
control
them
and guide
shits.
Shepard for a short time, Shepard was never truly on their side. They were only guiding its wrath. And now its wrath had turned back on Hamlin. Shepard breaks out of his cage and goes on a full rampage, putting up King Von numbers throughout the Hamlin facility.
Okay.
Everyone in the Hamlin facility is wiped out, except for a lucky few who managed to escape. With their numbers dwindled and their plan in shambles, Hamlin could no longer rely on
We're
Shepard to do their
lost,
bidding.
man.
At this point, their only option was damage control, to destroy the
Love
remaining
that show.
tapes, which would therefore break the connection to the entities and the connection to the dark world. They no longer had the resources or Shepard to do the bidding, so they
Okay.
had to get creative. Since Hamlin initially approached Sam at the Kensdale Public Library, they definitely knew about Kate and her relationship with Sam, so they probably surmised that she must have the remaining tapes. But Kate was discreet. She was the one fish they couldn't catch. But they did know about one of Kate's old friends. One night, Joanne Cook is approached by a shadowy figure who told her that she could free Jordan. if she destroyed the VHS tapes of Amanda the Adventurer. Desperate to save her brother, Joanne believed them. What she didn't realize, though, was this shadowy figure was actually a former Hamlin employee. Their true plan was not to help Joanne, but to locate the last remaining Amanda tapes, which, unbeknownst to them, were in Kate's possession. So they manipulate Joanne into thinking that this is the only way to save her brother Jordan, in hopes that she would lead them to Kate and the remaining tapes. Their final loose end. So Joanne reaches out to Kate through a letter. She had known her from the library and had heard about her operation, and she wanted in. Kate and Joanne began working together, but their partnership was a bit rocky. Joanne was convinced, because of what the shadowy figure had told her, that smashing the tapes was the only way to free her brother. But Kate did not share this belief. She was certain that the only chance they had to uncover the truth was to keep the tapes intact. One night, Joanne showed up at Kate's house, demanding that she destroy the tapes. The argument got heated, and before it could boil over, the culted anomaly tears its way into the house, protecting the tapes. And chaos erupted. Joanne shoved Kate out of harm's way and barely managed to escape with her life. They both escaped, but in the aftermath, Kate believed that Joanne had been killed. As she drove away from the house, Kate recorded one final message for her niece Riley, a warning to stay away from the tapes at all costs.
Please just don't watch the tape.
Oh no!
The letter I wrote, I was wrong. Riley, there is no higher calling. There is only suffering and pain.
You see, one of the reasons that Kate was so adamant about saving Rebecca in the first place was because deep down she felt responsible for what happened. Remember, back in the day in the early 2000s, she was one of the biggest promoters of the Amanda Show. She's one of the reasons it got picked up by Hamlin. So she probably felt guilty and partially responsible for whatever was happening to Rebecca, and she wanted to save her. And that's exactly why she left that letter to Riley, so that she could finish her work. But only now, after all of her friends and family have been killed, does she realize that it was all hopeless. And that all she's done is kill the people that matter most to her. And at this point, the last thing she wants is for her niece to suffer the same fate. Unfortunately, though, Riley didn't get this message until it was too late. We'll talk about that more later. Moments later, she collides with another vehicle, and Kate Park
during the car crash. Damn, the biggest loss in the story, really.
And that finally brings us to the events of Amanda the Adventurer 1. That's right, we are 34 minutes into this video.
I know.
And I haven't even gotten to the first game yet.
I know.
For reference, the timeline I did before Amanda 3
but
was
it's very
31
necessary
minutes in its entirety.
Holy shit.
So,
Holy
yeah,
moly.
obviously, a lot's changed since then. Now, before we get into the actual meat of the games, if you guys have enjoyed the video so far, please consider subscribing. We're on the road to 100K by the end of 2027. For 1,000,
you will get a like.
I ate a ghost pepper, and then for 10,000 I dropped the Wooly diss track. I'm not really sure what I want to do for 100,000 yet. It's got to be something that like matches that level of crazy. So you know what? Fuck it. Whatever the most liked comment on this video is, I'll do that for 100K.
Go to Thailand and box.
That
what was that one video?
Reason, okay? Relax.
Oh, what the fuck?
My only other contingency is that it can't be Amanda related, since I already did something
No!
of Amanda the Adventurer. And these episodes can very often come off as random or not significant, but this is not true at all. Upon further analysis, most episodes of Amanda the Adventurer have some kind of significance to the backstory or importance in the lore. But keep in mind, all of these tapes that we're going to go through, even though we are watching them in the year 2023, these episodes could have aired as early as 2002, because these are all episodes that Riley is discovering that have been archived by Kate. So even though Amanda and Wooly react to Riley watching the show in real time, the general framework of these episodes still happened in the past, which means that as we go through these tapes, I'm going to explain how they fit into the earlier events of the timeline. And we know for a fact that these tapes are old because the tape that David discovers in 2013 when he goes in the Hamlin base.
Wait a second. Does that mean that she was capable of interacting with the people in the tapes? It's like these are pre-recorded, but she's still capable of interacting with them?
Exact same one that Riley discovers later on. So the year is 2023. Riley, who is much older now, inherits her Aunt Kate's old house following her death, as well as a mysterious note. It tells her to head up to the attic and check out some weird tapes of a children's show starring her childhood best friend, Rebecca. And thus begins our journey as the player through the world of
God, this game took me so long
just like
to
any Dora the Explorer ripoff. In the tape, in the kitchen, Amanda and Wooly bake a pie, but Amanda casually encourages children to play with knives when their parents aren't around.
We can use a
Crazy.
I don't think we're supposed to do that by ourselves.
It's always good to be brave when you're by yourself.
Wooly acts as a voice of reason, and it becomes clear that there's a weird dynamic between these two. Amanda desperately tries to recall her memories, but Wooly swoops in and puts a stop to it. That tension grows in the tape In Your Neighborhood, where Amanda insists on sending a card to her special friend, and that friend turns out to be Kate Park. Amanda's trying to reach out to Kate through the screen and call out to Riley's aunt from the show.
Why?
And then comes the tape Oh No Accidents.
Why wouldn't it be
From the
Riley?
very first frame, something is off. Wooly frantically tries to warn Riley about something, but Amanda cuts him off and hurts his knee before he can finish.
Oh, it's you. Whatever you do, don't...
Oh no!
What was this?
Wooly had
By the way,
an accident.
that's
Amanda
crazy.
drags him to the hospital, and the rest of the episode plays out as normal. It's possible that Wooly was gonna gonna try to tell us to destroy the tapes, but Amanda stopped him. It's possible that Wooly was gonna try to tell us to destroy the tapes, but Amanda stopped him, kind of like he does in the original Amanda demo.
Take the tape out now and destroy them. Burn them. Whatever. Just get rid of these other tapes.
Which I haven't really covered in this video because I'm pretty sure the demo is not canon, but if you do want my thoughts on the demo, I have a full breakdown that you can watch after this video. The next tape that Riley finds
the demos do have different stuff. That's crazy.
Is one of the most important in the entire series. Everything rots.
Sometimes I feel myself rotting.
Amanda suddenly says in this episode that she can feel herself rotting, which is her referencing the state of her real body that's been rotting away for 17 years at this point in Hamlin's facility. This is Rebecca breaking through the show, telling us what's really happening to her. When she asks Riley if everything rots, she's literally trying to figure out if her body's rotting. And, I mean, yeah, spoiler alert, it is. The next tape, What's a Family, takes place on a farm, and Amanda starts falling apart. She hints at her messed up family history and then crashes out, having a mental breakdown. Okay. Now, unfortunately, the subtle messaging of this episode is a little too vague to fully decipher her family history, but I think all this episode is really alluding to is the fact that she's alone and has no family, which is why there's a lone kitten. The kitten represents Rebecca, who literally has no recollection of her family history. And then in the second to last tape in the game, Amanda slimes out Wooly. And this was obviously the one that we talked about a bit earlier. Following this episode, Wooly vanishes. And now that Riley is left all alone with Amanda, Amanda reveals to Riley that she's still out there, somewhere.
I'm out there. Somewhere.
And then the tape starts geeking,
God,
which
that
forces
shit
Riley
scared
to break
the
into the
fuck out of
TV.
me.
I think this is Amanda telling Riley to go find her, to go save her. Following this event, Riley is approached by a hooded figure. And this hooded figure is Joanne. And that's where Amanda the Adventurer 1 ends. Well, that's the canon ending, at least. In one ending, Amanda gives up on Riley and asks her to leave. In another ending, Riley is attacked and killed by the Amanda entity. And in another, Riley is pulled directly into the show, transformed into a hanging piece of meat while the butcher stands in front of her, confirming that he plays some kind of transitionary role with the souls that enter the show. So that's the meat ending. But
I'm so confused. So Amanda just doesn't remember, like, Riley at all? Or are they two separate people? I thought they were just the same person. Just different characters, you know, like Rebecca's the actual person and Amanda's the character in the thing. I don't know.
That's not the canon ending. The canon ending is Riley meeting Joanne Cook. And with that, we move into the next chapter of the story. Joanne and Riley hop into a car and make their way to the Kensdale Public Library. But while they're gone, the few remaining members of Hamlin make their move. They track down Kate's house and set it on fire, convinced that the tapes are hidden inside. The whole place goes up in flames. Meanwhile, Joanne leads Riley
in this
into the
economy,
library.
bro.
Her plan is to gather up every last Amanda tape and destroy them. She believes that smashing the tapes is the only way to free her brother. She still believes in what that mysterious figure told her those years ago. And this is where Amanda the Adventurer 2 picks up. Amanda 2 kicks off with Let's Plan a Trip, which features the very first appearance of the opossum, who steals some of Amanda's money that she was trying to use to plan a trip. It becomes very clear that Amanda is tired of being an adventurer.
He was a
bad
guy.
This is fun, I guess, but I wish I really could go see the world.
But Amanda can't leave, so the show just continues to drag her along new episodes. In Good Night, Amanda heads to bed, and the opossum, with his usual rage bait, eats her toothpaste.
Ow!
I'll always be a villain.
But right before she falls asleep, Amanda says something insane.
Good night, Riley.
Who? She calls Riley by name. She still remembers her from her childhood, and that night
That's
Amanda
what I'm
also has a nightmare.
saying.
Flashes of the procedure that trapped her inside the tapes. The next morning, and let's start the day, she goes through her morning routine, brushing her teeth and making breakfast, and Wooly is still nowhere to be found. He's been absent from every single tape ever since Amanda folded him. And then suddenly, he's back.
Oh, that's right.
Nice to be
And I'm Wooly.
Let's Practice Patience brings Wooly back into the picture, but he's not the same Wooly. If you remember from earlier in the timeline, this is when Wooly was taken out of the show to create Shepard. In present time, Riley and Joanne are now being hunted by Shepard in the library. But the single most important tape in Amanda the Adventurer 2 is Let's Hunt for Treasure. It follows Amanda and Wooly searching through a dark forest, uncovering mysterious items, like a teddy bear and Sam Colton's clothes, which I mentioned earlier. But this forest is more than what it seems. This is Hamlin's burial ground, the place where they hide all the evidence of what they've done. This teddy bear belonged to one of the missing kids that Hamlin abducted. David finds this exact stuffed animal back in 2013 when he's prowling around the Hamlin offices, right next to the walls with a bunch of children's drawings. Plus, this pink teddy bear is one of the gifts that Rebecca received on her 7th birthday, which confirms that these stuffed animals are owned by the kids. So they got rid of the evidence of Sam's murder while they were at it. Speaking of Sam, it's possible that they buried his body somewhere out here as well, because when Amanda and Wooly are standing by a stream, they mention the smell of sulfur.
That's what swamp smell like? It's sulfur.
which is a key chemical component in the process of decomposition, meaning that they were smelling a dead body. It's even possible that Wooly was the one who buried him. And if you're wondering how it's possible to transfer real-life items such as a human being into the show, remember that the show is just a pocket dimension, so it is technically a real place somewhere. I mean, do I know specifically how they put it in there? No, but I mean, come on, I can't have the answers for everything. And then there's the tape We Can Fix It. I don't even know how to describe this one. It's just cursed.
This is insane.
Jesus Christ.
The VHS is damaged, and it's meant to reflect the damage Amanda has suffered because of Hamlin's experiments, as well as reveal Wooly's true evil nature. In the next tape, When You're Feeling Bad, Amanda alludes to her dark past and the fate of her father Sam through a children's story about a dragon, princess, and a knight. In the story, an evil wizard transforms the princess into a dragon. The knight comes to save the princess from the dragon, not realizing the princess is the dragon, unknowingly killing his one true love, and living a life of solitude from then on. Now, this story is pretty obviously alluding to the tragic fate of Sam and Rebecca. Hamlin represents the wizard, who transforms the princess into a monster. The princess represents both Sam and Rebecca. Rebecca was transformed into a monster, aka Amanda, by Hamlin. But the dragon princess can also represent Sam, as the dragon is unknowingly slayed by the knight, which represents Rebecca as well. Rebecca accidentally killed her own father because of the experiments Hamlin was doing on her mind, and didn't know she was killing her quote-unquote one true love. And because of this, was doomed to live a life of solitude within the Amanda show. And finally, the last tape of the game has Amanda and Wooly roaming around a dark neighborhood.
This is a
whole
scary
tape is meant
one,
to warn
man.
Riley.
Oh my god.
Meant to warn her that she's not safe
Don't
and that
look
the
at me
entity
like
is
that,
coming for
Amanda.
her.
Chill.
Riley heads over to Kate's old
Holy
office in the
schmoly.
library and meets up with Joanne. Joanne smashes the tapes and releases a soul inside, which causes the Amanda entity to crash the party in an effort to protect the tapes. Riley then discovers Aunt Kate's secret passageway that leads to the city's sewer system, and she heads down. But that's not the true ending. In the true ending, Riley opens up a secret compartment in Kate's desk, which contains the final message she sent to Riley before she collided with another car and died. And after hearing this recording, Joanne finally realizes that the man who approached her years ago was from Hamlin, and she was being manipulated this whole time. She admits that the only reason she brought Riley to the library was to destroy the tapes and free her brother. But now, after everything, she wants the same thing that Kate wanted, to take Hamlin down. Unfortunately though, Joanne never gets that chance because right as she finishes her confession, the demonic Wooly entity smashes through the ceiling and mutilates her.
Oh, yeah.
She ain't gonna be in Amanda 3. Shepard was trying to protect the tapes to preserve himself. Since him and Wooly are fused, if the tapes die, so does he. Unlike Rebecca, Wooly cannot leave the show. Because of his crash out that happened earlier in the timeline, him and Shepard are one being, which means that if the tapes are destroyed, so is he. Riley grabs a blank tape and flees into Kate's secret bunker. And that is where Amanda the Adventurer 2 ends, setting the stage for Amanda 3.
Oh, okay.
Amanda 3 picks up right
One of
after
them
2,
is
with
the
Riley navigating
water?
the town sewer system. She is chased by Shepard and barely manages to make it to Hamlin's underground facility alive. She navigates to the main office room, the same one that David encountered 10 years prior. The first tape has no title, but it follows Amanda and Wooly at the candy store. Also, the butcher is there for some reason. Hello. The possum crashes the episode, but now he's on a sad boy arc, likely because of his sister Joanne's death. So Amanda cheers him up by giving him some candy, and these two actually start building a bit of a rapport, which Wooly does not appreciate.
Oh my god. Crash Out Monster.
The next episode, Amusement Park Work in Progress, is an unfinished lost episode of the show. Amanda and Wooly go to an amusement park, which triggers a memory that Rebecca had of her and her dad going to an amusement park many years ago. Now, the existence of this tape would seemingly disprove my theory that Amanda is a pocket dimension, seen as the entire thing is one big storyboard and you have to use storyboards to solve the puzzle, and storyboarding is a key part of pre-production of any animation. But I still don't think it contradicts my theory, because right after this, Amanda shows us a memory of her and her dad Sam at an amusement park, and why on earth would Hamlin animate an episode where she's literally recalling her past, which historically has been their #1 goal to prevent? Which means that this has to be a manifestation inside Amanda's mind. So yeah, even though this storyboard nonsense did make me think about things a little bit, I think the purpose of this storyboarding thing was more about providing a unique puzzle than actually being a part of the story. Riley ends up discovering a secret chamber with Rebecca lying inside of a stasis chamber, but no way to reach it. And it becomes clear that the only way to help Rebecca is to help her remember her past. So this becomes Riley's mission. The next episode, Healthy Food Helps Us Grow, the trio make food in the kitchen. Wooly tries to get the possum to drink milk because possums are actually allergic to milk. So Wooly was literally trying to kill Jordan. The following episode is A Day at the Beach, where Amanda recalls a day she had with Sam, Kate, and Riley on the beach many years ago. Recollecting this memory short-circuits Hamlin's systems and gives us a key card that leads to the rest of the facility. The Shepherd Demon also manages to break in and waits on the other side of the door trying to break it down.
That's so crazy. I didn't know possums were Wooly, you bitch. I didn't know that they were allergic to milk. That's insane.
Oh, snap. Oh yeah, we gotta hurry up. The next tape is the same one that David encountered 10 years prior. The only difference being that the possum is in it now. Now, interestingly enough, in this security room, the box that David put that red tape in all those years ago is actually missing. Oh, the cabinet's missing. This is where the tape got slid in, which would imply that Kate actually infiltrated the Hamlin base at some point and got this red tape, despite her old team strongly advising against it. Since the red tape is in her possession by the events of Amanda 1, there's really no telling what or when this trip happened, but Kate has definitely been in Hamlin's base at some point, prior to her death. Riley tries to solve the puzzles involving the stasis pods in order to free the kids. However, based on their silhouettes, it kind of looks like a lot of them are beyond saving at this point. But Riley still tries regardless. But at this point, Wooly's had it, with Riley, the possum, and Amanda. The Shepherd Demon breaks through and destroys all of the stasis pods, murdering all of the children inside the show, including Jordan.
That's what he was doing? No!
Somehow we have failed to save almost every major character in this game, so Riley ventures to at least try to save Rebecca. Riley barely manages to make it to the elevator and escape. Oh no. The elevator takes her to a hidden room below the facility, a ritual chamber. Exactly where the curtain would collect and do their rituals, and where they are keeping Rebecca behind a locked door. So in order to unlock the door, we need to watch the next tape, When I'm Grown Up. Amanda alludes to the fact that she's never had the opportunity to grow up, and Wooly once again tries to take back control. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, this episode probably takes the cake for the creepiest across the entire series, in my opinion at least. The opening of this episode also has this really bizarre imagery of a dark portal opening, which is almost complete confirmation of the alternate dimension theory. But getting through this tape opens up the next room, which has a pentagram on the floor and a lectern. So this was likely some kind of ritual room. The next tape is Let's Plan a Party, and something is off with Wooly.
Oh, this is where he's in a sad world.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Yo, what's going on with Wooly?
Why do you ask so many questions? Why can't you and your stupid friend just let things be?
Nutty, by the way.
He crashes out on Amanda and vanishes from the show permanently. This was, of course, the tape we talked about way earlier in the video. And this was the moment where he fully embraced the Shepherd Demon and destroyed Hamlin's facility all of those years ago. But Amanda just brushes it off.
We don't care.
Let me tell you, we don't care.
Probably because she high-key don't fuck with Wooly like that. So she starts planning a tea party with all of her stuffed animals. And all of these stuffed animals are the...
I don't get it. This is one part that I'm not understanding. They created the tapes. The tapes were there. We had like, I don't know, 10, 20 tapes. They're pre-recorded, pre-made tapes, but we're still capable of interacting with them in the future. But in the past, Wooly embraces, so it's like a circle. That's what I'm assuming it's like.
Exact ones from her past memories, like the elephant that she won at the amusement park, or
Crazy.
the stuffed cat that she got on her 7th birthday. There's also this one that looks like Kane from the Amazing Digital Circus. Not sure if that's supposed to be an Easter egg or not, but yeah, it's there. Now we have to use the symbols imprinted on the animals to match up with ritualistic candles and place them on the pentagram, which allows Amanda to recount the
completely
events
guessed
of her
there, by the
7th birthday
way.
party. And this final tape opens up the gates to her stasis chamber.
My God, okay, it's happening.
Riley walks up to the pod and finally frees Rebecca. Also, her hair is dreaded up here, which is a detail that I appreciate.
So you can tell everybody.
But then the Shepherd Demon corners us. Just when we're about to get folded though, the Amanda Demon runs the fade with Shepherd. Oh, they about to fight?
Yes! Hell yeah!
Yo, Amanda, back up.
Let them fight.
And despite Shepherd being like twice its size, the Amanda Demon actually clutches up. The Amanda Demon takes the W and loses its arm in the process. Rebecca breaks the final Amanda tape, destroying the entity, and finally freeing her from Amanda in the darkness. She reunites with her childhood friend Riley as they limp out of the facility. Ultimately, Hamlin's hubris was their own downfall. They were so confident in their twisted view of the world that they assumed the demons would just go along with their plan. And they were so wrong. The remaining members of Hamlin presumably scattered and went into hiding, forced to rebuild their cult from scratch, hoping to one day finish their plan of cleansing humanity. But because of the efforts of Riley, Kate, Sam, and Joanne, that day is not today.
Let's go! Absolute cinema.
Who is Wooly? What purpose does he truly serve on the Amanda show? Where is Wooly in Amanda the Adventurer 2? And this is the theory that I am holding up as my official guess for who Wooly is. Wooly is this pawn.
Oh, this is Bro's come up.
The 3 heads of Balam purpose that we credited is because he's in the show. I believe that Kate infiltrated Hamlin using the Suez. Colton is dead. Amanda the Adventurer 3 is right around the corner. Before the Amanda the Adventurer. So tell me, Wooly, are you done playing pretend? Amanda the Adventurer, Marzilla, aka the
Now fuck that! I don't think y'all got me fucked up!
is not animated.
Those bros come up. Damn. W video, actually. Super useful. Here's my Amanda the Adventure lore video. It all begins when God created the universe. You should do your own horror game. People don't know how hard that is. Alright. God, that is fucking crazy. Biggest L's in this. Kate and Jordan. My two day ones. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!